All right, after a few months hiatus, Eye on Terre Haute is back. Terre Haute Mayor Duke Bennett, kind enough to join us from his office via Zoom. First of all, Mayor, how have things been for you?
Well, pretty good. I guess this has been, as we all know, a pretty unpredictable, crazy. You never know what comes next year, and here we are in August already. I mean, it's flown
Mhm.
by. Still a lot of unknowns out there, but things are going well. I mean, we continue to get a lot of things done, but yet you don't know what the next day is going to bring.
Yeah, we talk about the new normal a lot, but then some things never change. It wouldn't be Eye on Terre Haute if we didn't talk about railroad crossings, and a lot of people calling us about the rough railroad crossings in town, especially the one on Ohio Street. Are you
Uh-huh.
able to tell us anything about the updates on where CSX stands on getting those a little more smoother for us?
Yeah. So here's the key, and I'm disappointed in CSX. They kind of do whatever they want. A lot of people are calling me too and saying, can the mayor just make them do this or make them do that? They're they're somewhat cooperative when it comes to these kind of things. It's their tracks, they own it. We cross over their tracks. Here's the predicament. They have been laying mile-long rail. So they came along and alongside the railroad tracks, they have laid out mile-long stretches of new rail. And so they had to cut into the crossings to lay the rail down in the ground, throw some asphalt on top of it until they get to that crossing to actually do the work of replacing the rail. And so I know they completed 13th and Crawford last night, and it's open today. I don't know if Wabash is open. I didn't come down Wabash this morning, but it's supposed to be open today. Then they'll shift over to other ones. So it'll be nice and smooth when they're done. We're just kind of in that interim step they had to bury that rail because it went across the railroad crossing and you couldn't drive over the rail. So they had to bury it in the ground with temporary ditches, if you will, that they filled in with asphalt. They're supposed to be completely done with everything in the city of Terre Haute by next Friday. So a week and a half from now, all the crossings should be restored.
In the meantime, drive very carefully across these crossings.
There's a couple of them that are like Ohio that are really, really bad.
I hit that one on Ohio, and it certainly wakes you up. That's for sure.
Yes.
Well, how about let's move from railroad crossings to road projects? What are some of the things you're working on road project wise here in the city?
We've completed the community crossings projects this year, so we're done with the big ones that we did: Prayton Road, Crawford Street, Wabash Avenue, and North 13th. All those are all done. The next paving project we are going to be doing is Keene Lane. We recently replaced a culvert pipe underneath that goes into Deming Park from the east, brings the stormwater through there, and it was collapsing. So that's been repaired, and now they'll be paving that street. It's in very, very poor condition. And then we're going to be doing some other smaller projects that we're still working on a schedule for this year, but no big ones. We've used up all of our funds for the big projects, but we'll be doing smaller projects. And we'll roll those out as we just, we're kind of making sure we're going to be able to get them done. We're working with Wabash Valley Asphalt on timing and those kind of things. But it'll be mostly smaller sections of streets, not any great big projects.
Any anticipation from your office about when City Hall might reopen with this COVID-19? Of course, the numbers are going back and forth now.
They are. Things have been going pretty well with people being able to access services with City Hall. Courts open in the mornings, and then we close the doors again after court's over. On August 17th is when the governor says he's going to begin to open up the government complex in Indianapolis, depending on how things go over the next week or so. That would be a target date for me, but I'm not going to make any official declaration of that till we just wait and see. The key for us is we just really don't want to get our staff infected or, us infecting the public. So it's been working really well where people are doing things over the internet, over the phone. We'll come and meet them outside if they call us. If they got an issue with the department, we'll come out and meet you in the parking lot or in the front step and take care of business. But right now, I would say, the 27th is when the governor said his order ends. We'll see what gets extended after that. But on the 17th, if he begins to open up the government complex, the state government complex, then I will consider opening up at least half a days or something on that particular day. But I'm just waiting to see what happens over the next first part of next week, I'll probably be able to make that decision.
On Wednesday morning, the Terre Haute Police Department indicated that they are in the process of getting body cams. Do you have an update on that for us?
We've been working on it for about a year and a half, and we've decided on the vendor we would like to use now.
Okay.
Got a lot of community input on that. We have applied for a grant, and which will help us, $200,000 grant. But if we sign the contract now, we lose the grant because it can't be reimbursable. You have to do it to move the project forward. So we should know about that by the end of this month, which will put us on a timeline to get the Board of Public Works to sign the contract, get the equipment in here, do the testing, get them assigned to officers, get our policy in place, so how we're going to manage that, how we're going to store the data, what information is going to be available to the media and the public, et cetera, in the future. We should have these going here by the end of the year. I mean, that's our goal. I don't see any reason why we can't. We're still going to be able to move forward without the grant, but it's going to cost us a lot more money. So we'd love to have that $200,000 grant. It'll almost pay for the first year. It's going to be well over $1 million for a 5-year agreement, and we'll be spending that every year from that point on. So it's going to be expensive, but it's very important. We've been wanting to do this for a long time. We just had to be able to find the budget dollars to do that, and getting new public safety local option income tax is going to allow us to do this. That's the only reason. We started collecting that last year, and so now we've got some revenue to be able to move this project forward.
Very good. Now, earlier you mentioned the Board of Public Works. They're going to have another police department issue, hopefully before them soon, and that's the new building. Are we any closer there?
Yeah, we're looking at scheduling things beginning in September. So our attorneys are working on those timelines and getting things filed. So you'll begin to see actual approvals begin on some pieces of this in September. So it's going to move pretty quickly once we get things on the docket. And so I just got some emails this week showing me that the negotiations are going on to get things filed properly, and that's what's happening.
Okay, very good. ISU, not too long ago, announced that homecoming festivities are canceled. Are you going to change? Now, last year you made a lot of major changes in terms of upping police presence along the walk. Are you going to back that off with this announcement from ISU, or have you gotten to a point where you've even discussed that?
Well, we've discussed it a little bit, but I don't know what's going to happen. With no homecoming activities, you still wonder, will some people still want to do a walk out to the football game? Obviously, I've had people ask me that question already. We'll be prepared for that. My guess is it'll be a much smaller presence than what we've had in the past, because I would expect a much smaller amount of people to be involved. But hopefully people will be smart about that and just, let's take a year off and let's take it easy and let's stay away from the spreading of the COVID. So we'll be prepared for whatever may come, but I'm assuming it's going to be a much more lower key activity.
I'd like to end on a high note, and the two major development projects in Terre Haute, of course, being the casino and the convention center. Where do we stand there? I know the original plans were to break ground on the casino in September, which is next month. Hard to believe. Are we still on track for that?
I'm still hearing that. So talking to the owner, it could vary a little bit, but right now we're still on track for that. That'll be very exciting. And then the goal is to get that open by the end of next year. It'll be 12 to 14, 15 months probably to get it open. So right now everything is still on track, and I'm sure he'll provide us with an update at some point here in the near future about what specific day. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Very good. And convention center wise, how are we doing?
Yeah, we're doing well. So if you go by there, you're starting to see some things now. Some trees have come down in order for them to put the sewer line tap in to Perry Street. Most of the utility work now is wrapping up. The stormwater facilities going in on the hotel property. It'll capture the stormwater. 8th Street will close at the end of August permanently. So we'll get that out to the public very soon. And then you'll be able to see actual construction begin once that in-ground stuff is completed. So yeah, we're moving right along of what we thought. Obviously we're behind from where we hope to be at this point, but we'll get caught back up here hopefully before the winter comes.
All right, Mayor, that's all I've got for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for resurrecting Eye on Terre Haute. We look forward to seeing you next month.
Yeah, take care, John.